The ANC's National Executive Committee says it will prioritise looking at policy measures to reduce the current cost of living, particularly the pricing of electricity. The party's highest decision-making body is meeting in Boksburg on the Gauteng's East Rand. Juniour Khumalo has been following those developments and joins me now in studio. Juniour, thank you so much for joining us. A very good evening to you.
A good evening to you and to our viewers.
So you've been tracking the discussions that have started within the ANC's highest decision-making body. They are on a continued path of renewal as they continue to remind us with all the meetings that they have within the NEC gatherings. And it's not just limited to the caliber of their members with regards to renewal, but also in terms of what's happening, especially in local government. We saw the Gauteng province held its local government summit over the past couple of days, and it seems the emphasis is on ensuring that service delivery gets to a place where South Africans can trust the ANC.
Indeed, because the ANC believes that despite there being changes at a national level with this introduction of the government of national unity, if this does not trickle down, all of the changes that they're putting in place, if they don't trickle down to the local government level, which is the sphere that is closest to South Africans, then the impact of those changes will not be felt by South Africans, and the ANC will again have a poor electoral showing. So we did hear some of the NEC members, including Dixon Masemula, who is also the Deputy Minister of COGTA, speaking about some of the interventions at local government. He said that they want to focus on, in particular, metros. We've seen changes already happen with the ANC now attaining the mayorship when it comes to Johannesburg, Ekurhuleni. In Tshwane, they have also assisted in placing the Action SA mayor there. And they're saying that that does not stop there. Basically, they want to professionalize that space in local government where the appointments when it comes to managers, city managers, are capable individuals. So now these appointments are not only going to be approved by mayors, but they're also going to be approved at provincial as well as national level.
Do you think that with the election outcome for the ANC, there is a bit of a shake-up in really going in and trying to fix things that for many years South Africans have complained about, but they just seemed to sweep them under the carpet?
Indeed, the ANC has realized that the electorate is no longer just going to support them because they were a former liberation movement. They want to see results on the ground. So that's what also the Economic Transformation Committee of the ANC spoke about, that service delivery needs to reach the people, in particular when it comes to issues such as electricity, the affordability of electricity, as well as when it comes to the inflation rate. It needs to be kept at a level where South Africans are not impacted. But let's take a listen to what the chairperson of the Economic Transformation Committee, Mamuluko Kubai, had to say about this.
But it's also whistleblowers of people who have worked in the banks that are giving us some of this information. Now I'm saying to the banks, to protect your credibility, assist us by disclosing. Now, if there's nothing wrong that they are doing, they can't have a problem with disclosing, which is an act of parliament that is required. So we've had a conversation with BASA representatives. I have committed to meeting the banks before the end of this year. We'll do that in a roundtable discussion. The team is working on suitable dates, but the agreement can be compromised. We can't compromise on full disclosure by the banks. Who are they lending? Who are these categories? So if it's 100 black people, colored Indians, where are they loaning them? The interest rates that they are giving based on our profiles. That will satisfy South Africans to feel that they are not being discriminated against.
So, Juniour, with regards to the renewal of the ANC, we're seeing a lot of former ANC and current ANC members behind the dock answering to a lot of corruption-related cases in various spheres. Is this a step in the right accountability direction?
It seems like the ANC itself is agreeing that it's a step in the right direction, because there's been a lot of allegations that the party itself had been protecting a lot of its own members when it comes to parliament, which is supposed to be a watchdog of the executive of the president. In some cases, they had been accused of defending these individuals. Even the NPA, there were allegations that surfaced before the State Capture Commission that some of these law enforcement agencies were not acting swiftly enough to arrest arrest some of these individuals, prosecute them because they themselves were now captured. But the ANC this week, starting from yesterday, has been looking at some of those outstanding Integrity Commission reports that have been long in the making when it comes to the president's own Phala Phala issue. We were told about 2 years ago that he has presented himself before the Integrity Commission. At the time, the chairperson was George Mashamba. Now he has since left. It's now the ANC stalwart, Frank Chikane, who is now the chairperson of that committee. So we understand that that report was tabled before the ANC's NEC. It was first processed by the Secretary Fikile Mbalula. But from what we understand, it's that there were no adverse findings against the president. The president has been cleared by the public protector. He has been cleared by the South African Reserve Bank as well. And now it seems like the Integrity Committee itself has also cleared the president. But we are expecting an update from the ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula. But with regards to people like Zweli Mkhize, who faces the Digital Vibe allegations against him, we are still not sure what the Integrity Commission's pronouncement on that was. There are people like Pule Mabe as well, Thembisi Melane. We also expect those reports to be tabled by the Secretary General of the ANC to the media, either tomorrow on Sunday or on Monday when the NEC closes.
And I'm sure the findings of all of these integrity reports have a very deep-rooted impact on the perception that South Africans, and especially ANC supporters, have with the party.
Indeed. So the ANC, that's why it says part of renewing ourselves, part of cleaning up the house is that we show South Africans that we are actively rooting out those corrupt elements within the party. Obviously, everyone is innocent until proven guilty, but the party says that if any allegations are brought against you and they bring the party into disrepute, then to maintain that credibility and integrity of the ANC, such individuals should actually step aside. So one of the other things that was discussed today was giving the Integrity Commission terms and references so that when they do make a finding, those findings are final. They don't have to go through the NEC of the ANC and be approved, but also the timeframes, how long it takes the commission to come back with the report. As we were talking about the president's Phala Phala report, it took over 2 years before the Integrity Commission report was tabled before the NEC itself.
Do you think with all the discussions that are currently happening at the ANC, there seems to be a drive towards local government elections, towards 2029 elections, where they are currently campaigning to garner up support once again?
Indeed, the ANC is also very open about this. We heard from Dixon Masemula speaking about local government and the interventions that are being made. He did say that we are leading up to those 2026 local government elections, so we do need to show South Africans that we are working. But working in a coalition itself is a challenge for all the parties involved, because some of the interventions that they want to implement are opposite to those policies of other parties, such as your Democratic Alliance, your Action SA. So he said that it is imperative for the ANC to have an outright majority in most of the metros should they want to implement those policies of the ANC that are actually going to work for South Africans.
Talking about the Democratic Alliance and the GNU, have there been any discussions so far with regards to that push and pull relationship, especially with the DA? I mean, we're seeing a lot on social media with regards to opinions in terms of who are we aligned to, whether it's the West, Russia or China. Are these discussions a very deep part of the conversations that are taking place?
We did expect discussions around the GNU, but with the ANC especially focusing on the SACP, its alliance partner. We know that the alliance partner is unhappy between the marriage between the ANC as well as the DA. They even snapped the 100-day celebration by the ANC president, Cyril Ramaphosa, and the ANC a few weeks ago. So we did expect those discussions around that, but we do expect those discussions to happen tomorrow, where they do speak about the necessity why the ANC needed to get into that GNU partnership, especially with the Democratic Alliance, because they thought there would be more stability going into partnership with the Democratic Alliance than with going into partnership with parties such as your Economic Freedom Fighters or Umkhonto weSizwe. So we do expect those discussions to still happen.
Very interesting discussions. The succession plan for the ANC, that has been something that's been brewing, but it seems to be gaining momentum. Are those discussions taking place?
We do expect that to happen during this NEC, but you're right. On Monday, we went to the ANC's celebration of the life and legacy of Albertina Sisulu, a stalwart within the ANC. And there was a lot of praise given to her. And questions were raised on that day that there are a lot of capable women within the ANC, but we've never seen them hold serious positions, such as the presidency, the deputy presidents, the chairperson. They are always usually the deputy secretary of the ANC. So there is those talks right now that are coming up within the ANC. Even today, we heard some of the NEC members saying that even in mayoral positions, we need to start seeing a lot of ANC women leaders taking over those positions. In particular, if there was a mayor who is a male in that position for more than 2 terms, the ANC Women's League is now proposing that the next candidate that the ANC puts forward is a woman to take over. So we do expect the succession plan to be, those topics to arise. But the secretary of the ANC has said that it is too early. Right now, the ANC needs to focus on renewing itself and not internal fights that can be caused by succession talk.
You mentioned that in the next 2 days, there will be the discussion of the GNU and just the alliances, especially with the SACP. Are there any other highlights that we could look forward to in terms of what will be discussed between tomorrow and Monday?
So tomorrow, the major focus is going to be the life of O.R. Tambo. He's going to be celebrated by the ANC. He is one of the longest serving presidents of the ANC, serving from 1958 to about the 1980s. So he is going to be celebrated. There's going to be a wreath-laying ceremony in the morning, and we do expect the president basically to give a lecture as well later in the day. But we also expect talks around the outcomes of the elections. So the diagnostic report that has been compiled by the ANC's National Working Committee is going to be discussed tomorrow. There are talks that the ANC is planning on disbanding the Provincial Executive Committee of KwaZulu-Natal as well as Gauteng because of that poor electoral performance. But it seems highly unlikely that the ANC would do this because it would cause instability within the party. And the likelihood is that the individuals that are removed might jump over to parties such as Umkhonto Wesizwe, and we've seen the former KZN chairperson Willis Mchunu jumping over to Umkhonto Wesizwe, and this might cause further electoral decline for the ANC. But we do expect talk around what happens now. We've received this diagnostic report from the National Working Committee. What are some of the things that we're going to put in place to ensure that the ANC does better in 2026?
All right, Juniour Khumalo will keep tracking that story for us with the ANC NEC meeting at Boksburg.